I'm going to come back to something that I alluded to earlier. I could be wrong, and you could say if you think I'm wrong, but when I read the four dissents, with the exception of Thomas, his allusion was a little lighter, but all three of the others made allusions or alluded to the possibility for violence. They kept referring to the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, that people fought for no taxation without representation. Scalia said that. He said, look, these people fought for no taxation without representation, but this is more important, no social engineering without representation. Do you think, and this is conjecture on my part, but do you think that this decision is going to lead to things that we don't even want to think about?
Well, I can't predict the future. I don't know. I do know that Justice Thomas said that numerous amici, or those that submit briefs, have cautioned the court that its decision here will have unavoidable and wide-range implications for religious liberty. It appears all but inevitable that the two will come into conflict. The majority appears unmoved by that inevitability. In other words, I don't think the court cares what happens. The court has just issued an order, and you're referring to Dred Scott, and that was the ruling in 1857 where the Supreme Court said that black people were property.
Right.
And I think Justice Roberts said that was overcome on the battlefields of the Civil War and by a constitutional amendment.
With a gun to the head of the Confederate States.
What he was saying is that it took that much to overturn that decision. Yep. I hope we don't have a war. I hope we don't have conflicts. But we definitely need to recognize that same-sex marriage is something that has not existed at a state level or government level.
There's so many things I want to touch on, but I am of the opinion that if Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and Patrick Henry, if they were here today,
they would be incensed.
Well, they would not only be incensed, but they started a war over taxation. I mean,
right.
this is like, we're going to make the colonies into Sodom and Gomorrah. I don't think so. I don't think that they would have tolerated
I think
this.
there's going to be a great backlash to it, and I think people have not seen what the consequences of this court's ruling are yet, and we'll wait and see what they do.
Justice Thomas was the only justice to refer to God.
He referred to the law of nature and the law of God.
Yeah, and the Creator, and he quoted how John Locke wove in the concepts of rights coming from our Maker. With his dissent as the exception, this was actually a godless decision.
What shocked me the most is knowing that when they went on oral argument, no one mentioned the basic reason we have marriage. It's because God ordained marriage as between a man and a woman when he created woman from the rib of Adam. And nobody even mentions that, despite the fact that the United States Supreme Court did in the 1800s. Yes, they said in Murphy versus Ramsey, they said that family springs from the union for life of one man and one woman in the holy estate of matrimony, the foundation that is most stable and noble, the best guarantee of that reverent morality which is a source of beneficent progress in all political and social improvement. They're saying basically everything that society is based on is the family, and that started with a man and a woman.
Right.
And naturally, by nature, it starts with a man and a woman to produce children. I appreciate Justice Thomas mentioning the law of nature and the law of God. Those are legal terms in those days that we have lost any concept of.
Right.
The law of nature and the law of God. Blackstone wrote, it said, upon these two foundations, the law of nature and the law of revelation, depend all human laws. That is to say, no human laws should be suffered to contradict these. And
allowed, Old English, should not be, no human law should be allowed that contradicts the laws of God.
Right.
I have been a leader in the pro-life movement for 30 years, and sadly we have not prevailed in our goal to make it a criminal act to kill an unborn baby. There's reasons why we have failed. I wrote this book, A Humble Plea, to Catholic bishops, to evangelical clergy and to lay people, explaining where we went wrong and what we have to do to prevail. We've made this available as a PDF online for free. I encourage you to go and download your own copy. We have put together what we call an online university for you. Now that's a highfalutin way of saying that we have a pretty significant library of material, books, tapes, videos that are there for you for free. Why are we doing this? Because America is desperate for new leaders, and because this material could help you to become the leader that you and God want you to be. Check it out and enjoy it.